It's not just the ABC and the government who are bullying Australians, it's corporate Australia and all these different sporting bodies who've jumped on board The Voice. And Australians should be very, very wary. When you've got big corporations, big tech, big business, all lining up together to push the same line. We saw this during COVID. We see this on climate change. Here they go again on The Voice. What's in it for the average Australian? I'll tell you what's in it for the average Australian. You lose part of your democracy. That's all it's about, and you will never, ever, ever get it back. Well, and this idea that you can put something into the Constitution, our constitutional monarchy is one of the great democratic institutions on this planet, the envy of the world, of many, many other countries. And the idea that we would tinker with what we have and bolt something in that changes your one man, one vote, one woman, one value, one vote, and turn it into something where there's this massive bureaucracy sitting there that can overrule whatever it likes over any and interfere in any other democratic process is so repugnant to the basic premises of democracy that Australians have to speak out against it.
But it's more than that, Ron, because Paul Kelly writes that it is also, if The Voice gets up, it is the death of the idea of equal citizenship.
Oh, yeah,
and that's so what I just said.
Well, it's not just democracy. It's the idea that you have a race-based group bolted into the Constitution. But I think there's a really interesting point that we need to explore and needs to be explored more deeply about these corporations, these sporting bodies, all of these groups. Especially the big corporations. They are in environments that are both highly regulated and they are also, many of them, doing lots of business with the government. The new government comes in, says, this is our thing, we want everyone's support. And of course, they're not going to get get the new government offside by saying, no, they're going to go all in on it.
And they're also suspecting the government will be in for a couple of terms. So they're backing that horse.
I actually don't think that so many of the CEOs and others, who are going all, changing the websites and doing the corporate campaigns, they really care one way or the other.
No,
because for them, it's a tribal identification thing. We're part of the corporate class.
Well, they want to sit at the dinner party in Mossman and go, oh, yeah, our company's backing The Voice.
I think it's a little bit of that, but it's also a little bit of obviously being led by the HR marketing departments, which are populated by woke morons. But there's another reason they do it is because they see it as essentially cost-free. And I know, Rowan, you're going to talk about this later. We'll talk about it possibly in Outsiders News as well. But look at what's happening with Target. They're having a little bit of the Bud Light phenomenon occur to them. So these corporations need to understand that the conservative half of the population, they are not going to just stand by and see you push values that they disagree with, push agendas, political agendas they disagree with, without making you pay. For a long time for corporates, it was like, well, we can't upset the left because they'll boycott, there'll be all sorts of campaigns against us, we'll have this backlash. But conservatives, we can do what we like. They're too busy working.
They've got nowhere else to go, in the famous words of Mark Textor.
But
conservatives will never speak up, but they are speaking up.
There's a problem with this logic, though. In Australia, the United States is 330 million people. It's a huge market. There's lots of competition for everything. This is a very oligopolistic sort of society. It's the
big word, James, for a Sunday morning.
I know it's a big word for a Sunday morning, but what it means is that, if you've got, you need more than 7 letters for that one there. You'd have to really get a lucky play to get that one on the board. But, if all of the telcos go woke on this, if, all of the sporting codes go woke on this, all of the airlines, if both Qantas and Virgin, well, who are you going to fly? You can fly Rex, I guess, but where are you going to,
Fly Rex. I'm with you there, Fly Rex, exactly, because they're not bowing to this nonsense.
But the Target phenomenon, because I didn't think this would work with Target. Bud Light, you can, there's plenty of other light beers you can adopt instead. But Target being such a massive multinational, it provides so many products. It's such a handy place for people to shop. So I thought, no, there's no way they're going to cop a conservative backlash boycott. But they've lost around 9-10 billion in market value in a week because of these pride displays they're having where they're selling tough underwear for children.
Exactly.
And once a company becomes permanently associated with this, it's no sort of turnaround campaign is going to turn that around.
But mainstream Australia can speak with its voice and should be speaking with, forgive the pun, with its voice.